Welcome to the Discover Universal podcast. Keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle. And watch your step on the moving walkway because we're taking you park to park to prepare you for your next visit. Let's Discover Universal.
Welcome to the Discover Universal podcast. I'm Kari, and my horror makeup show is in the mirror first thing in the morning.
And I'm David, and I'm scared spitless.
Nice work.
Spitless.
I love that, quoting the show.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we are here talking about all things Universal Orlando's horror makeup show.
One of the few remaining original offerings back from 1990 when Universal Studios Florida opened. But in its current incarnation, it has gone through many different versions to arrive where we are today.
Yes.
Which is, of course, a fantastic, hilarious, very informative show here at Universal Studios Florida.
That's right. So it is located in this park on the Universal Studios Florida side, and it is on the streets of Hollywood at the Pantages Theater, our own recreation of the Pantages Theater. So it's beautiful. There's a great marquee outside, and there's a lot of stuff to do before you even get into the show. There's some Hollywood characters out there. There's a really cool photo op. There's a crepe stand. There's all kinds of stuff. So
if you see the crepe stand, you've gone too far.
that's what you're looking for.
Or maybe you can eat one while you're waiting for the show to start.
Ooh, even better idea.
Yeah.
So when you get to the corner, that Pantages Theater on the corner of Hollywood Boulevard, you see, like I said, this gorgeous marquee. Outside, you see the show times, so they'll let you know when all the shows are going to be there. There's multiple shows a day, so always check the official Universal Orlando app for those show times. And then when you walk into the theater, you are treated to a smorgasbord of horror makeup props from different movies. There's recreations. There's really cool makeup techniques, a lot of information. So before you even get in there to experience the show, they're already putting you in that mindset of sort of edutainment. So showing you the cool stuff about horror makeup and creature creation before you get in there to see our host and our artist in action.
Yeah. And so then that's the show itself, right? So it's about 25 to 30 minute long show where you're going to be learning about all sorts of makeup techniques, prosthetic makeup, and they do it in a really cool, really entertaining way. They show lots of clips of movies, and they really go all the way back through the Universal legacy of horror. You know, they say that Universal Studios, as a production company, like created the modern monster movie. And,
That's right.
And that history dates back all the way to like the 1920s, the 1930s with some of those really classic Universal monsters.
Absolutely. And they highlight some of the famous makeup artists that brought all of those creatures to life and
Very
all
true.
of those makeup techniques to life, that some of them that we're still using today, which is really cool. They also show you some of the digital like CGI imagery
The
that
modern
we use.
techniques as well, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, Kari, so without giving too much away, without, revealing the whole show, like
Yes.
what can the guests expect to see over the course of the show?
Okay, so it is indoors, like you said, so
Yes.
bonus points. for-
Seats, air conditioning.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yes. So you're going to go in, like you said, it's about a 25-minute experience, and you're going to meet a host, and that host is going to be very excited about creature creation and monster makeup. They're going to introduce a makeup artist, and that artist is going to come out and show you some of the really cool techniques that they use. You'll get introduced to some fake blood or some cool latex effects that they used, and you'll get to see it right there in real time. So they're not just talking about it, they're showing it. And there's a lot of guest interaction, so you
Yeah.
may be lucky enough to be pulled up on stage.
Or unlucky
or
enough.
unlucky to actually become part of the show, which is really cool. And at the end, again, like you said, I don't want to give it away, but there's a special surprise, and that is a piece of audience interaction as well. So a lot of fun. And the name suggests that it might be scary. Of course, you would think horror makeup show might be too terrifying, but it is a perfect combination of comedy and hilarity and information and a little bit of that blood, guts, and gore that Universal is famous for.
Yeah, it's really more about kind of explaining the techniques and again, that legacy of horror than it is about actually being a scary show. It's a very fun show. There are some moments where, like you said, they do talk about blood and guts and all those gory things from the movies. But honestly, during the show, they do a pretty good job of like warning you, like, hey, if you don't want to see these movie clips, just look away from the screen, whatever. They give you a good heads up.
Yeah. But in my opinion, check them all out because
Yeah.
they're really cool.
Soak it in.
Especially once they're showing you those techniques in real time. You can, the
then
next
how they're
time.
made, yeah.
The next time you might watch one of those horror movies that have that guts and gore in it, you'll be like, oh, I totally saw that on stage. a horror makeup show. So again, really cool educational moments as well.
And the show itself, it feels like it's always different.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So, of course, the two performers, not to pull back the curtain a little bit, the two performers that are in the show, every single person brings something different to the show. And I mean, I've seen the show plenty of times over the years, and it is still hilarious. It's something different every single time you see it, especially when you get like some guests involved and some guest interaction. You never know what's going to happen. And they'll always surprise you. They try to keep the jokes updated. They'll always try to mention a current event or something like that. And it's great. But today, we're going to have the chance to talk to a couple of those performers.
Yes, we are so excited. There's a female duet, which is really cool. So Robyn Kelly and Summer Aiello, we will get the chance to interview them and kind of see it from an actor perspective, how much they love the show. And you can feel when they're talking just how much love they have for this project.
And each other.
Absolutely.
They're like the bestest of friends.
They really
at this point, yeah.
For sure. Just like us, David.
It's true.
Yeah.
We don't have quite the legacy, though.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We're just beginning our legacy.
Well, let's learn more about the show from some of the performers that actually get to do it every day.
Experts.
So we'll welcome into the studio our very special guests, Robyn and Summer.
Yee!
We are very happy to welcome to the studio the dynamic duo of horror makeup, Summer and Robyn.
Hello.
Welcome, guys. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
We are so happy to have you guys here. First things first, let's start with some introductions.
Okay.
Robyn, go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Robyn Kelly, and I am about to celebrate my 19th year at Universal, and I think like 15 or 16 at Horror Makeup. So I'm originally from California, from the San Diego and LA areas. Moved here in 2003 and have been with Universal since then. It's good to be here.
The rest is
An
history.
illustrious career.
Yes, yes, my big career.
Amazing.
Hi, I'm Summer Aiello. I'll be celebrating 25 years with
Yes,
Universal next
girl.
May.
Yes, girl.
Wow. We are here to talk about the legacy of horror makeup,
Yeah.
which is an original content.
The horror makeup
yes,
show.
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
An original show that it came as part of opening lineup in 1990.
1990.
1990. Wow.
I don't believe it was called the horror makeup show
It was
when
called
we opened, though.
the Gory and Grotesque horror makeup show.
Oh,
Wow.
It was had a big
that was
full-on
before Robyn.
It was before me too, but
I don't remember
I
that.
knew a lot about it because I actually came to the park in 93 to see like the show, specifically to see the show.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So you've been dubbed the horror makeup historian. So walk us through kind of the background or the infancy of horror makeup.
So in 1990 it opened, and it was one of because there's only a few original attractions still open now today from 1990. There's horror makeup, there's animal actors,
E.T.
and E.T. But anyway, so the show opened. It had some rotating elements, like they would pull a guest up and she would kind of put her like mechanical arm over the guest for the picture and kind of scare the guest. They had a squib section where, so like a squib is, it's an effect in a film. The squib will open, have blood in it, and so it looks like you've shot somebody. They had a head that they would put on one of the counters that would come to life and be like, "Don't shoot me!" And then they would do the squib effect. And then at the very end, the crowning jewel of the show were the fly pods. And the artist, Mark or Marty James, would get into them to show the fly pod effect. And then they, of course, would turn into a fly, right? So the fly would come out and then, oh no, and then, he'd come back. And then at the very end of the show, as he was saying goodbye, he'd turn around and he had little fly wings on his back. Prior to the show, there was a lobby thing that happened in the lobby. There was actually a little pre-show that happened in the lobby. So if you go in the lobby today, we have all these amazing props and things from different films, Universal films, and also too some things from Halloween Horror Nights, which is our big property here. And there's like a little tiny stage in the corner of the lobby, and it's got like red curtains. Well, there used to be an effect that happened before you would load in. the chandelier in the center of the lobby would shake and the lights would go off and on, and you'd hear the voice of the Phantom. And the Phantom would do a little thing where he'd be like, welcome to the court, and then there was he had a cape that had a arm, and he would go like this at the end, and this little pole would come up, and he would set the cape on it. Then there was an elevator. He would go down, and smoke would come up, and then the cape would drop, and he'd be gone. So it was like a fun little magic trick.
We get asked about that as well still.
We do, yeah. But anyway, so that's the show, and it's gone through several different incarnations now. Of course, the show we do now is a lot different, but I think it honestly has helped the show grow, I believe, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Especially the way that that we promote women in the show now, I feel, they have a much stronger presence than they used to.
For sure.
And we both, and I know, Kari, you're totally exactly the same. Like, we are fools. Like,
oh yeah,
and
the dum-dum status is like at a million.
But also like just willing to look silly or strong, as well. But I don't ever consider myself like this beautiful hot ingenue that comes out on stage. Like, I love being like dorky and silly, and I think the audience embraces that from us. So
what I know about both of you is you love a challenge, so
100%
having to win the audience over probably lit a fire.
Yeah.
And second of all, you are both incredibly confident, strong, funny women. So
Thank you. And you as well.
You're blazing a path over here. This is, for the record, listeners, like, this is kind of the ultimate actor role.
We are so grateful
every
single day when we go onto that stage, and it's just like, God, we are so lucky to do this.
Yeah.
So blessed, so grateful.
So let's talk, speaking of the guests, let's walk us through, like, if you've been living under a rock since 1990 and you've never seen or heard of this show, like, in a nutshell, what is the show as a whole? What can they expect to see?
Well, it's very interesting because, again, we have guests come up all the time. I just had this happen the other day. Someone said, what a hidden gem this show is. They use those words. They said, we have always, for years, annual pass holders for years, we've walked by this show and have never stepped foot in there ever, because we just kind of didn't really know what it was. And because so many times people will be like, I had no idea this show was funny.
Yeah.
As well as informative.
The name suggests horror makeup, and people go, scary.
Yeah.
That's what my mom always says. She's like, I don't want to see a scary show.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I
scary
wonder,
things in it, but it's not scary. It's about scary.
And I wonder if people do think that it's too scary for, their kids or whatever. We have little teeny kids that come to our show all the time. And there are parts where they might want to, cover their eyes or whatever. Just like some blood and gore. But we counter that with, look at how we do these effects. They're just effects. It's fake. Look at how amazing, we can make this look real. But sometimes people will simply solely walk in there just because it's so dang hot, and they're like, I want some AC. And so there's an inside show. Okay, cool. And they come in just for the AC break, and they leave going, oh my gosh, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
I mean, every day. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I had no idea this was so funny. I had no idea this was so entertaining. And that makes us feel so good to be this like hidden gem. But then on the flip side, I'm like, I want everyone to stop and see the show. I don't want people to walk by.
Sure.
But I think they're pleasantly surprised when it's so entertaining and funny and fun, because we say the script to a point. We do the script and we explain, all of the facets of how this all works. But what's so glorious about the show is that all of us are our own Marty, Mark, or Alex.
Yeah.
You do not really copy anyone else. You might like steal a bit here and there or a joke, but for the most part, our show director is he celebrates us being a glorified version of ourselves.
So there is so, like you said, there's so much room in the show for some fun moments, some improvisation, some unexpected moments. And I feel like a lot of that also comes from the fact that there's some audience interaction in the show.
Absolutely.
So how do we demystify audience interaction for our guests? Because I know some people come in and they're like, oh, don't pick me.
Well, we've just gone through something obviously very interesting with COVID.
Yes.
So we have always, I don't want to burst the magical bubble or anything, but we do pick real guests from the audience.
And have since 1990.
Yep. Yeah, we have the guest, and then we always pick a kid from the audience too to do this like fun little kid bit that we do. And so much of the audience's reactions make the kind of sort of make or break the show sometimes, you know.
Well, you want the audience, like a lot of times the audience feels like they are not allowed to break that fourth wall. We want them to.
Yes.
We want them to. But that's why, like, as a host, when I come out and I get the audience, like, pumped up, I'm like, I want them to know it's okay. Make noise, like, yell.
This is awesome to be able to celebrate this show because we just celebrated last year, right? 30 years?
Yeah. And it is such an incredible, amazing thing to be a part of this legacy with so many incredible actors have been on that stage.
For sure.
That people know of now. I mean, like
people ask us still sometimes, like, "Oh, where's that actor that blah 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 from years and years ago?" Like people have come to this show for 30 years and remember people they've seen on stage. And I love when people come up and go. they're like probably in their 50s or 60s. They're like, "Oh my gosh, do you guys remember you picked me like 10 years ago?" Oh, actually, though, some people do have, like, they'll pull up a picture on their phone that they took 10, 15 years ago.
Or they have the Polaroid we used to take.
Yes.
Because we used to use the Polaroid.
Keep the Polaroid
They'll
picture.
pull that out of the bag and go, look, you picked me. And, or I love it when people come by and go, I was here when you were pregnant.
Yes, I had that the other day.
I'm like, which time?
Yeah, I had that the other day. They're like, oh, I think somebody they had a picture with me, and I had my big old belly. I think right up to like 9 months, I think I was still doing the show.
Wow.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
They're
These
basically
women.
like, if you feel comfortable, then it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dream.
Yeah.
The dream.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It really is. We're so grateful. Seriously, every day.
So from working on the show, have you actually like learned anything about makeup and horror makeup?
Yeah.
Yes.
David,
You performed as a makeup expert for so long. Some of it must have.
I will say this, also having been in makeup chairs here before for different things I've done over these years,
Sure, yeah.
I take that and apply that. So, because sometimes guests will come and ask us, are you really a makeup artist? Which is a great feather in the cap because it means we've done our job.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
we've
people
absolutely
buy
done
it
our job. People are
all
like,
the
where
time.
did you go to school? What did you do? And so, they'll ask, where can we go or what, So I do like tell them some places that I've like looked up and studied and said, you can go to here, you can go here, or talking to some of the makeup artists that work here. A lot of them are self-taught, and you would not believe some of the stuff these people show us
my
when
gosh.
they're walking out.
We
Look
have
at this on
had-
my phone. My daughter did this on us for Halloween, and like
We get people all the time. After the show, they will come up and scroll through their phone. And I'm talking like preteen age kids who are doing makeup effects at home and taking pictures of their stuff. It is, they could like walk into our makeup department at any time.
It's unreal.
They are so good. And they just look up at you and they're like, can I show you some of my stuff? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. And their stuff is so, I don't think I've ever looked at anyone's picture and been like, oh, bless.
No, never. It's
truly-
always so incredibly good.
They're all good.
There was this one girl I remember, she's probably 15 years old, and she showed us a picture of like makeup she had done on her arm, and it was like glass shards, in her arm.
Insane, yeah.
And she was like, I used candy glass for this. And she's telling me, and I was like, oh, that's a good choice for that product. Great choice. Blends so
Still
well.
in character.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
I, as Marty James, would obviously know about it.
So
It's just so
it's sort
cool.
of an ancillary thought, but I mean, it is the horror makeup show, and you mentioned our makeup artists. Like, so many of our makeup artists, and they make all the prosthetics and they make the masks for Halloween Horror Nights. Like some of these people have like been on TV shows, like
Yes.
makeup competition TV shows.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
And this is their home and this is their job.
And some of them have worked on movie sets. And
true,
I mean, we
yeah.
have so many that from here who have gone on to work on well-known television shows and movie sets. We have a guy that works backstage at our venue who does makeup, and he's been making all of the like prosthetic arms and things as like some of the stuff he's doing in his downtime.
Okay.
Like the stuff he's doing is incredible.
Yeah, it's actually really cool to have him back there because
Right, as a resource for sure.
He does touch-ups throughout the day, but the rest of the day he's working on like props for us and, to put on our stage, and he's airbrushing like some of our prosthetic arms that are on stage and airbrushing and painting and it's so cool to be able to have him there to do that. And you can just call on him at any time like, hey, this mask is looking a little rough. Do you mind doing a little touch up on that too? And he's like, yeah, totally. So it's such an all-encompassing kind of thing it's just awesome to have him there. And so not only are we talking about this stuff during the show, that stuff we're talking about is actually happening in the backstage area during our shows. Like it's so cool. We're like a working studio really with this makeup. So it's really cool.
I think we're going to get to take a tour of the theater and the stage, and I hope we can like kind of point out some of the things that the guests can look for when they're in the audience. Like I know for me working at Halloween Horror Nights, some years I can actually pick out some of the masks from some of the years that are up there.
There
part
are
of the stage.
little Easter eggs on our stage that when we have our diehard pass holders come and our HHN diehards come and watch the show, and they'll come up and they won't even ask us anything about like us or the show. They'll be like, "Hey, that mask right up there, that's from blah, 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 blah." And you're just like, yeah, you're incredible that you know that. It's so awesome. So awesome. We love our diehards for sure.
Well, we're about to become a couple of your diehards because I think we're coming to your 11:30 show today.
Yes.
So we are so pumped to see you in action. Thank you so much for joining us here
gosh,
today.
thank you guys.
This was a blast.
Absolutely.
So fun.
That was awesome, guys. A big thank you to Robyn and Summer. I loved hearing about the history of the show, all the cool experiences they've had doing the show for so many years. It's a great show. It's so much fun.
Definitely. And from a guest perspective, I can't stress enough how much fun it is. It doesn't come across scary. It's definitely very enjoyable. If you like comedy, if you like sometimes going to a show that's different every time, if you like off-the-cuff adventures, that is the place to go.
Yeah, and our time with Robyn and Summer did not end there. We actually headed over to the horror makeup show. They gave us an amazing tour of the lobby, all the super cool props that are out there before you head into the show. And then we went in and watched the show ourselves, and wouldn't you know it,
What?
Kari, you got picked to go on stage.
I knew that was going to happen.
Who could have seen that coming?
I don't know. But I did have a good time. Hey, take a listen.
So like while the guests are waiting for the show, there's all this stuff in the lobby, all these little displays.
It sets the mood a little bit for the show when they get to hang out in the lobby. So instead of like a filmed, queue line videos and stuff like that, which are awesome, but here they can literally walk around and look at all of the stuff.
My favorite thing is the antique makeup kit because you actually get to see some of the...
Is that what that is?
Yeah, you get to see some of the products. I can't remember who it belongs to. I mean, maybe it doesn't belong to anybody, but it kind of shows you like the hair pieces. It shows you all the different oils that they used, and so spirit gum, of course, for our
The sticky stuff.
sticky aficionados. Yes, I don't know. It's just really cool.
Really cool.
It sets you up with and this is probably not how we do it today. I don't know. That's
Yeah, I
really
mean,
cool.
we get really excited talking in the show about practical makeup because a lot of CGI has taken over, of course. It's just really cool to see how it's evolved over the years. And
Well, let's go look at it. Let's go into the theater. Let's go check it out.
All right, let's get a close up on Kari's arm. You guys scream too. All right, sweet Kari. Here we go. Everybody scream along. Ready? 1, 2, 3. What are you doing? Are you serious right now? What did we do? I don't know. Picture. She's got, Does it hurt, Kari? No. I'll keep cutting. All right. Show her how it's done.
Okay, so you can clearly hear him having a good time.
The whole show was amazing.
It really was.
Just beginning to end. And again, I've seen it before, but every time something new happens, something unexpected, it was hilarious. It was
Definitely.
great. You did amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I left with my arm intact.
Yes.
It was great. Got a couple of jump scares in there as well. And another really cool thing, like the variable is always the audience. So like Robyn and Summer said, sometimes there's those people that have seen the show a million times. There's some people that are seeing it for the first time, and it's really cool to absorb all that energy.
They have their super fans as well.
Yes, they do,
But you're
as
right.
they should.
As seasoned performers, they play off that energy from
Mm-hmm.
the audience. They play off whatever random unexpected thing happens, and it just makes for an even better show. So.
It was a blast. So much fun today talking all things Universal Orlando's horror makeup show.
Yeah, so if you guys are planning a trip to Universal Studios Florida, do not miss it, especially if you've never seen the show before. Guys,
yeah.
what are you doing?
Make
You're
some
missing
time.
out.
Maybe especially at the hottest part of the day. Go enjoy that air conditioning.
Good call.
Again, head on over. It's on the corner of Hollywood Boulevard at the Pantages Theater. You can check the official Universal Orlando app for all of their showtimes.
Well, thank you again to our special guests, Robyn and Summer.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Someday we're going to have that legacy.
I know, right? Thank you to our executive producer, Michelle, our engineer, Art, and thank you all for listening.
To learn more about Universal Parks and Resorts, head to our show notes for links to our Discover Universal blog for a more in-depth look around our destination. While you're there, sign up to receive emails that will include articles, videos, and this podcast delivered right to your inbox to prepare for your next vacation. If you liked what you heard, leave us a review and don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.